Hello. I'm waiting for my internet to catch up because it's not being very cooperative today. And I want to just point out before I get started, I can't see any comments for some reason. So if you have comments on this live, I will get back to them. Um, but today, today I want to talk about something that is really near and dear to me, only because I have struggled with it myself. So I'm curious if anybody else has ever felt like your mind just won't stop racing, no matter how hard you try. No matter how hard you try, anxious thoughts just keep creeping in and you don't know how to take control of them. Well, I can tell you first off, you definitely are not alone. So in today's live, I want to share three really, really simple steps, really powerful ways to help calm those anxious thoughts when they start creeping in. Anxiety is something that I have struggled with most of my adult life. Most of my adult life, I've struggled with anxiety, and I used to need to take medication, prescription medication to help calm that, but I am one who doesn't like to have to take prescription medication, so I was bound and determined to find ways to help calm those anxiety symptoms that I was having so that I didn't have to depend on prescription medications to be able to get by when anxiety was really starting to take over. Before I share the three really, really effective tips and tools that work for not just me, but for lots of other people, I think it's really important that we understand what anxiety actually is. Anxiety is our body's way of protecting us, basically. It's a process actually where our brains, the emotional center of our brains, which is the amygdala, overreacts to perceived threats that we're receiving, which is what makes that anxiety start to really creep up. When those perceived threats or anything that we are feeling at that moment as being a threat to us, when we're confronted by that, our brains immediately, that amygdala in our brain, it immediately tries to take us away from that area, and it tries to run away with us and take us far, far away from that threat, whatever that threat might be, so that we are safe and we stay safe. This unfortunately triggers a huge cascade of other responses in our body, physical symptoms in our body through the sympathetic nervous system, which includes the release of really, really stressful hormones, stress hormones with adrenaline, because that's our fight or flight response, which leads to feelings of worry and tension and all kinds of physical symptoms that start to show up in our body. Some people experience increased heart rate and rapid breathing. Me, for one, I experience this like really heavy feeling right here in my chest that it's really hard to explain, but it just feels really heavy. And when I start feeling that, I know it's time for me to use these tools that I'm going to be sharing to help relieve that so that I can get back to feeling balanced and calm again. The important thing to remember is when you start having these physical symptoms, first of all, you want to be able to recognize the physical symptoms that you're having as it pertains to the anxiety or those anxious thoughts that you're having, those thoughts where, oh, I'm in danger. Something's scaring me. I gotta fight or flight, get the heck out of here. Recognize when you're starting to have those symptoms, and that's not always an easy thing to do, is to recognize when they are starting. But once you can recognize when they're starting, that's when these three tips that I'm about to share really, really can be of benefit to you. And I'm not saying I need to backtrack a little bit. I am absolutely not saying that You never have to take medication. If you struggle a lot with anxiety, you may need to continue taking medication. What I'm saying is these three tips can help you in that very moment, um, to help bring you back into balance and help calm you and your nerves and get you back to whatever it is you were doing when the anxiety started creeping in. So, first step is recognizing the physical symptoms that you're having, whatever they might be. Once you recognize those, one thing that helps immensely is breathing. My daughters know this about me. They know when I'm starting to get really anxious about something because I will stop whatever it is I'm doing and I will take a really big deep breath in through my nose and out through my mouth. And I'll do that several times. And just taking slow, deep breaths in and exhaling them, doing that like 10 times or more if you need to, is enough to just calm me back down and get me back on track to what it was that I was doing. There's all different kinds of breathing techniques. You can Google it, but there's lots of breathing techniques that you can do. The one that I teach in my program is the 5-5-7 technique, where you take a breath in for 5 seconds and you hold it for 5 seconds and then you exhale for 7 seconds. That's one of the ways, but the biggest thing with breathing, you don't even need to do a certain technique. The biggest thing is recognizing and just stopping and taking a big, slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a couple seconds and then exhale it all out. But do that at least 10 times. And this is only going to take you less than a minute to do. You don't even need to leave your computer or leave the area that you were in when anxiety started creeping in. You can stay right where you're at, but doing this helps calm you down immensely. The second tip that I have is walking. If you've followed me for a while, you know that I've had on my stories and I've done reels that walking helps immensely with getting my thoughts back into alignment and helping me bring my anxiety back from wherever it's running off to back into alignment with me. Walking even 15 minutes. If you're able to stop what you're doing, get up from your computer. I talk about getting up from your computer only because I work in front of my computer all day long. So being able to get up and step away from the computer is huge. You don't have to do it for an hour. You can do it for 15 minutes. It helps reset. It just helps you reset and helps you get back into a balance so that you can get on with your day and calm those nerves that are starting to creep up from that anxiety and from whatever it is you're dealing with at that time. The movement of your body helps. Being outside helps. Being outside in nature is another thing that helps immensely with if you struggle with mental health issues. But walking is one of the two of the three tips that I'm trying to share with you today to help calm those anxious thoughts when you're having them. And the last tip I want to give is I just learned about this and it is really, really cool. It's called the butterfly hug. What you do with this is you take your hands like this and you interlock your thumbs and then you alternate tapping your chest with your hands. And what this does is it gets both sides of your brains working back in unison, and it again calms your nerves so that you can get back on track to what it was you were doing. Again, something you don't have to leave the area that you're doing. It only takes about 30 seconds, maybe. I haven't even timed it to be honest with you, but it doesn't take long at all to just sit there and do this on your chest, and just the drumming and the back and forth motion is enough to calm your nerves. So Those are three really powerful tips that can help calm anxious thoughts when you start having them, if you are someone that struggles with those. I really hope that these tips have helped with you today. And if they've resonated with you and you're ready to really take control of your happiness once and for all, I actually have an amazing opportunity for you. I'm offering 3 scholarships right now to my UQuest coaching program for those of you who are truly, truly ready to start shifting your mindset, rebuild your confidence if you've been going through struggling times, set healthier boundaries, and really, really step into a life that feels good again. So, if you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed or unsure of what your next step is, this is your chance to get the support and the tools that you need at no cost. But spots are limited. Like I said, I have 3 scholarships that I'm giving away. So if you're interested in that option, send me a DM if you'd like to apply for this really, really amazing opportunity. I also wanted to mention that I am also working on details for a live challenge that I'll be doing in my group. That you might also be interested in. So if that is something that you would like to learn more about, send me a DM so I can get you the details when you're ready, when they're ready, excuse me. Otherwise, that's all I have for now. I hope you have a most wonderful rest of your day.